All right, good morning. Welcome to Roswell. I'm James Conroy, Chief of Police for the City of Roswell. We are here today to announce several arrests that have been made as part of an ongoing investigation into a human trafficking network that's been operating within multiple Metro Atlanta massage parlors. A little bit of history. In May of 2022, the Roswell City Council passed an amended city ordinance aimed at strengthening regulation and enforcement measures for massage parlors and spas. The Roswell Police Department Special Investigations Section took a leading role in enforcing this updated ordinance, conducting numerous undercover operations within local spas to ensure compliance. During this process, detectives began to increasingly notice connections between several spa locations engaging in criminal activity and their associated leadership. As detectives continued to investigate these connections, they uncovered an extensive human trafficking and prostitution network spanning at least 6 spa locations thus far. The investigation culminated in a coordinated enforcement operation on the morning of September 20th. With the assistance of more than 70 officers and investigators, the Roswell Police Department simultaneously served search warrants and arrest warrants at 10 different locations in Roswell, Johns Creek, Sandy Springs, and in the city of Atlanta. These locations encompassed a number of different spa facilities and residences that were used to support and facilitate human trafficking. As a result, 3 principal figures within this trafficking network were arrested, with additional arrests expected as the investigation continues. During the course of this operation, the following spas were served with search warrants: Alpha Massage, 11235 Alpharetta Highway in Roswell; Ease Massage, 1085 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell; Enjoy Massage, 1580 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell; Iris Massage, 880 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell; Barefoot Massage at 5920 Roswell Road in the city of Sandy Springs; and Rose Massage, 2409 Piedmont Road in the city of Atlanta. As a result, the following individuals were arrested and charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and labor trafficking: Mr. Wei Chang Wong, age 56 of Johns Creek; Yan Lin, age 41 of Johns Creek; and Lin Chen, age 36 of Rome, Georgia. In addition to these arrests, multiple trafficking victims associated with these spas were immediately linked with vital support and resources for their stability and care. Victim advocates from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, as well as the local anti-trafficking organization Out of Darkness, were present throughout the operation and played an integral role alongside our investigators. The Roswell Police Department is indebted to our partners at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office for their collaboration, as well as Alpharetta and Sandy Springs Police Department for providing resources for this operation. This operation was one of the largest of its kind in the region and marks a significant milestone in our ongoing effort to combat human trafficking at the organizational level. The Roswell Police Department will continue to vigorously pursue those who exploit and victimize others in our community and ensure that Roswell is not a safe haven for those seeking to provide or receive illegal massage activities. As a reminder, this is a fluid, very active, and ongoing investigation. As such, there may be many questions that we cannot answer at this time, but those answers will be provided in the appropriate forum, which is in the court of law. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Roswell, the Honorable Kurt Wilson. Mayor Wilson.
Good morning, everyone. You know, there's no more important compact in a city with its residents than the compact of public safety and protecting those who cannot defend themselves. This morning, we are here to share with you the conclusion of an operation that was executed this week that took over a year's worth of work in a highly disciplined and coordinated campaign in the city of Roswell's fight to stamp out human trafficking in our city and sister cities. This operation was highly coordinated between our sister cities, Fulton County, and was led by the City of Roswell Police Department to bite the head off the snake, hitting some 10 places simultaneously. I want to commend Police Chief Jim Conroy, our detectives who tirelessly worked this case for the past year, and the Roswell Police Department for taking a crucial step toward our goal of eliminating illicit activities within massage parlors and spas and stopping human trafficking within our community. This is a component of enhancing the quality of life in our city and also seeking to support the most vulnerable in our community. Not only must we protect the victims of human trafficking, we must eliminate human trafficking in our community altogether. This could not have been done without the leadership of some very special people, most especially the leadership of our city administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, our COO, Mr. Rich Reinhardt, our city attorney, Mr. David Davidson, and of course my friend and the best police chief in the United States of America, Jim Conroy. But you know, it takes a people led by strong elected leadership to put policy in place to be able to have the will to do the right thing. And that starts with our Roswell City Council, those city council members who began to make this happen in 2022. I'd like to acknowledge first, pro tem and significant leader of all of this, Councilmember Christine Hall. I'd like to acknowledge long-term leader in this, Councilmember Michael Palermo. I'd like to acknowledge 2022 Councilmember Will Mortland. I'd like to thank Peter Vanstrom, who resigned earlier this year. I'd like to especially thank our 2023 Public Safety Liaison, Councilmember Sarah Beeson. And I'd like to thank our 2022 Public Safety Liaison, who was a dynamic leader behind the scenes when all these operations began last year, Councilmember Lee Hills. You know, when we took office a little more than 20 months ago on January 2nd, 2022, we made it a priority to support our police department. We said we're not going to defund our police department, we're going to fund our police department. And we did this by three simple measures. First, we approved best-in-class police pay, which was resulting in a fully staffed police department for the first time in 20 years. And I might add, out of 587 cities in the state of Georgia, it is the only city, to my knowledge, that is fully staffed at this time. Secondly, by providing the police department with the resources it needs to fight crime, like the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit and the ROC, the Roswell Crime Center. And of course, with the leadership of the council approving new provisions governing the operations of massage parlors and spas in the city of Roswell. Again, I'd like to thank the Roswell Police Department for their exemplary work in this case. We will continue our efforts to protect the Roswell community, our sister cities, and the most vulnerable amongst us. Today, we also have the great pleasure of having the governor's office here, Mr. Sebastian Barron, who's representing the governor's office. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, sir. And I'd like to thank Governor Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp for their leadership in the fight against human trafficking. Thank you, sir. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that we have the Fulton County Deputy District Attorney, Ernell Winfrey, who will be addressing us later. We're so proud of you, and thank you, Ernell. But now, I'd like to introduce our partner in the prosecution of these crimes. Today, we have the great pleasure of having the District Attorney of Fulton County with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, District Attorney Fondy Willis.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And where the mayor commended a lot of people, I think we have to realize that so many cities and so many mayors would like to put their head in the sand and not acknowledge that this is a problem. And it really takes courage to do what Mayor Wilson has said and what this city council has done. And so I am very grateful and very thankful that they've made human trafficking a priority. I've said many times in my administration that our priorities are really gang violence and human trafficking. And unfortunately, we know that those two are actually going together in this day and age. And I have to agree with him. One of the best police chiefs in the state of Georgia is Chief James Conroy. And I just thank him for his leadership and for his work. My staff and I, we are really honored to be here today, and we're really honored for this partnership. Today is a day of celebration because there's been an achievement, but it did not start today. My staff has been working with this police department for now over 6 months. I think you heard that they laid the groundwork a year ago to make sure that these days and this week has happened, and we're just at the very beginning of a long road, but we're at a good point. Today, no one should lose that this is a historic moment where you have a city coming together and saying we are not going to have this happen, and we're going to work hand in hand with the governor's office, with the city council, but mainly the police led the charge on making sure that we got this done. As a result, we've managed to bring cases against 3 defendants who were trafficking women. That's an ugly subject, but it's going on, and it's going on all throughout the county, and this city had the courage to lead the way to make sure that it's not something that's allowed here, and that people know that they're going to be at the forefront of attacking it. Human trafficking is a scourge all across America, but this is the city that had the courage to take it head on. As a world-class area, we're someplace that attracts a lot of visitors. And so with that responsibility and with being that beacon of light comes some of these ugly subjects. But with that attention and activity and having people here that want to victimize, we have to make sure that we are always attacking it and letting them know that this is not the city or the place or the county for this to occur. That's why my office has made working with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners to fight human trafficking one of our highest priorities. I want to introduce to you today a real-life hero, one that leads the team in my office. Her name is Deputy Ornell Winfrey. She's been here, and she was here the day along with 20 members of my staff to assist in this operation in every way that we can. But we are serious against this fight against human trafficking, and we are so happy to have a police chief such as we have here in Roswell that has taken the issue on. Thank you. Ornell Winfrey.
Good morning. Human trafficking is a heinous crime, and I say that it's often hidden behind closed doors, but it's hidden in plain sight. It's in our community. It's in our neighborhoods. It's behind the doors of what appears to be legitimate business. And we can no longer look away from it. We can no longer deny that it's happening because our community is being impacted. We can no longer have willful blindness to this heinous crime. There are real people, real women caught in these massage parlors. And today, I am honored to have worked with and to continue to work with the Roswell Police Department on stomping out this crime in this city and all over this county. We must hold traffickers accountable, those that would look and seek to exploit the vulnerable, those that would look to seek and obtain financial gain, literally off of the backs of women. We will not have that going on in our county and in this city. And I'm so proud of the work that the police department in this city has done so far. Even though we're just getting started, I want to encourage all of you all to know that we're not going to stand behind businesses that would do this, and we're asking that if you see something, that you say something. We know that people go in sometimes to buy sex. We know that this is going on. These parlors are located in our communities, in our neighborhoods. And when you know that it's going on, you have to say something. And that is my charge for all of you watching today, is to say something. This is going to take a collaborative effort. It took all of us to make this happen. It took the police department, city council, our office, and even our NGOs, our non-governmental partners like Out of Darkness, Frontline Response, to come in and step in and make sure that the victims of this heinous crime have somewhere to go after all of this is said and done, that their life moves on in a positive way. And so I encourage all of you to stand up with us in this fight. We're just beginning. We're just beginning. Again, I would encourage all of you to see something. If you see something, that you say something. And thank you for your continued support, and let's fight this fight together. Thank you.
We will now open up for a few questions from our media partners. Please again bear in mind that this is still a very active investigation. And if you would direct your question to the individual that you would like to direct that question to. Thank you.
Chief, can you step up a second? I know
Yes, sir.
people here are going to get these headlines, they're going to think about, obviously, the first thing is victims. Are these juveniles, these women, you said women, or what ages, how many victims do you have?
So we encountered over 20 employees. They were all adults and all females.
You know, are they coming here? I mean, from other countries? Are they citizens? I mean, people want to know they're going to want to know like what's holding them or how they were controlled or anything. Can you talk anything about that?
So
People don't understand like how this happened.
yeah. No, at this point I can't speak as to how they got into the country. That is part of the investigation and part of the prosecution. Correct. And I'll start that, and then I'll bring up the district attorney's office to speak on that point. So you're exactly right. We cannot do this alone. Our officers are great at investigating and arresting people. And then when we have to take care of victims, we have to rely on the district attorney's office and the private organizations such as helped us in this to get resources to victims in this case because those resources are not readily available. So with the partnership of the DA's office and Out of Darkness, that helped us get some assistance, but I'm going to bring the district attorney's office up since that was their main focus.
It's an amazing question, and it's one people do not often think of, is what happens the day after or just the hours after. And so that was the reason planning was so important in this case. It's one of the things we did. We did associate with Frontline and Out of Darkness, and we made sure that prior to doing this, not knowing how many women or victims we would encounter, that we had some place for them to go. And so we've been able to make sure that right now they do have housing, that they are being taken care of, that they're safe, even trying to get some people back to their homes, which are not always here in Fulton County, Georgia.
Dear, Will, can you talk about, I guess this is obviously started in Roswell, but obviously we see one in Atlanta, Sandy Springs, and this kind of, I always hear about Atlanta being like a hub for human trafficking, but I guess this obviously, you hear about Atlanta, but you don't think of Roswell or some of these places outside the city, and obviously it can happen anywhere, obviously.
It actually does happen everywhere, and I guess some do not think of it happening all throughout the city, but I think you have a mayor here and a city council and certainly your police chief who is wise enough to know that they are using legitimate businesses or what appear to be legitimate businesses to run their business, which is very illegal and very harmful. It destroys people's lives for a very, very long time, and so it's hidden in plain sight right before our eyes, and that is why it is so important that people say something when they know that these things are going on, that they call their local police officer, because it's not just happening in the big city, it's happening in the suburbs as well. The reality is sex is a commodity that's wanted all over the world, and so you can't think that it's just desired in the city. It's desired everywhere, and you have people that are willing to prey on victims that can't fend for themselves. So we have to make sure that we're here to protect them and that we are paying attention when it happens. That's why you really have to commend this city council and this mayor. They're heroes. A lot of people would rather pretend it's just not going on, and so if it's not going on, then we don't have to deal with it. What these brave men and women did was say, we know what's going on, and we're going to make sure it doesn't go on in our city, and our city remains one of the best cities in the United States, and that we keep everyone here safe. And so I really do think that they deserve to be recognized for that courage.
Are these the actual owners, or why these three?
So let me address that question first, then we'll get back. So you're exactly right. The spas in question are temporarily shut down. We've reached out to more of our partners. Collaboration is key in this. The Attorney General's office, Secretary of State's office, and we're reviewing some of the avenues that are in our city ordinance to keep these spas closed. They are all temporarily closed. They may reopen. We're checking into the licensing to try to get them shut down. There is some teeth in our local ordinance that allows us to permanently shut down spas after 3 convictions. and we're going to have to go back and check. We may have some convictions from our prior undercover operations, and once we get a third conviction, we can permanently shut down spas in the city of Roswell. And that's something that we got from one of our neighbor cities that had an ordinance that led to permanently shutting down these spas. So, but excellent question.
And then about these three specific, you say anything more about how they're connected?
Not directly without getting into the prosecution and the facts of the case, but these are the top level. These were our top targets in this investigation at this point.
It says there were more, I guess, new regulations enforcement that the council you came up with a year ago. Was it something where specifically you saw this as a problem, or neighbors or the community was coming to the city council or you and saying, we're seeing this in our communities, our neighborhoods, or what led to this a year ago that made you say, we got to do something about it?
Steve, a couple of things. Thanks for the question. And I think you heard the district attorney mention it a minute ago, is that it's very easy to pretend. You know, we live in a great country. We live in a great community. There's a lot of great things happening. And it's very easy to pretend that bad stuff's not happening. And it happens in communities, really particularly affluent communities like ours. And so when we came in, we talked about this from a policy perspective and said, this can't stand. So we really said, look, we can't pretend this is not happening anymore. You can't have a community where you're saying, hey, a lot of people got it great, but then look, this underbelly of activities going on where there's real tragedy going on. And so when we came in last year, we said, we got to address that. And there's some other things we're going to address. And to your question, Steve, no, this is just the beginning. And you probably heard us, look, we're going to help our sister cities. And I don't mean that in a patronizing manner. We understand we have contiguous borders. We're responsible. We're our brother's keeper. We're our sister's keeper in our own city and helping our sister cities solve this problem, because it's not just about solving for Roswell. It's about solving it for this community, for Fulton County. It's about solving it for this city, this region, and this country. I mean, human trafficking is a tragedy. It's a heinous crime. And it seems so benign. You know, the danger about this, and the district attorney spoke so eloquently about this a minute ago, this seems like it's a benign thing so often. It's so easy. Say something, see something is so true. Because every day, people go by businesses, and they know that something's not right. And so I say to my brothers and sisters out there is, call the police. Call a city council member. Call somebody. Call the district attorney's office. Because unless you get involved, the police cannot solve this by themselves. The district attorney's office cannot solve them by themselves. The people have to help solve this, Steve. And so, but I can tell you, we will be vigilant about this. This is one of the many first strikes. You're going to see a lot more to come. This is just the beginning.
Thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate you helping us to share this success story and also the work to be done with our community. So thank you very much. For any of our media partners that are here, our team can feel free to step on their way. If anybody has not received a copy of the press pack, and I can make sure that I can get that to you, my card is also included on that. If there's any other questions that you need to grab me on offline, feel free to. Thank you.